Hey guys, how's it going? This is Nick, Rockley Smile. Probably know me from all of my indie impressions videos, maybe not. Maybe you know me from some of the old stuff, the Super Meat Boy days. Regardless, I wanted to do something a little bit different today and do a little vlog. I haven't really done one of those before, but I thought it would be worth doing because there's a few things that I want to tell you guys. This is a sort of a channel update, partially, and I also just sort of wanted to talk about something specifically that I'll get to in a moment. But regardless, I want to say thank you so much to all the new subscribers. The channel's been doing really terrifically lately, and it means a ton to me. I mean, having 500 subscribers is not something that I expected ever, let alone within the first year of me doing this. Granted, I've had a lot of help. I mean, Northern Lion, really thankful for you for, doing what you can to give my channel a little nudge every now and then. And, of course, Anza and Zariel, Chris, whatever you want to call yourself. He's away on vacation right now, so that's why he's not here with me, but still I thought it would be cool to give him a shout-out and say hi. His help has meant a ton. And there have been a bunch of you, also the guys that have been doing the channel art, doing the stuff for the Facebook page. That has been incredible. Also had the guy that did the video intro for me for the Indie Impressions videos. That is also incredible. I'm so thankful for that stuff. I mean, that's stuff that I probably wouldn't have been able to figure out how to do it on my own, let alone do it so well. Not great at making animation stuff at all, really, so that's a huge deal that you did that for me. So that's great, and I just want to say thank you to all you guys for doing that stuff and for supporting the channel, for leaving comments, likes, and all that great stuff. I'm not the type to want to beg for that stuff, but at the same time it is really necessary to keep things going in a positive direction, and it doesn't take long before the tedium sets in if nobody's saying anything. And I'm not trying to come in here and beg for anything one way or the other. It's just so you guys know, it does mean a lot to me. Every day when I go on YouTube and there's new comments, that's the best part of my day. I get to talk with you guys about stuff. And the same goes for the Facebook page and anyone that's been on Reddit that's seen my threads that I've been posting. And that's a new thing too. I've been posting mostly every night's video, with a few exceptions, on Reddit, and that's also brought a lot of new people here. So if you're one of the people from Reddit, I'm super thankful that you found me, that you came and checked stuff out. So yeah, thanks to everyone. That's really the point. So I thought I should talk about something else that's kind of a big deal, and that's why do I care about indie games so much? Why is this something that keeps coming up, that I want to devote almost the last 100 days, and that's another big milestone, is I'm almost to my 100th Indie Impressions episode, and I haven't missed a single day yet, which I find to be kind of a big deal, because how many things have you done every day, aside from sleeping and eating, and not missed a single day on weekends, holidays, my birthday, anniversary, all that stuff happened? I still posted a video every day. So I don't mean to say it I'm boasting or anything. It's mostly I'm proud of myself for being able to follow through on that, because I don't have the best sense of follow through in a lot of areas in my life, so that's a big deal to me that I was able to keep up with it. And it's a big deal to me that you guys care for me to keep up with it. I mean, I can't say that it's going to last forever. There'll probably be a point when I won't be able to make Indie Impressions episodes every single night, but for now, I intend to keep doing it. I mean, just being realistic, I mean, who can do that forever? It'd be really cool if I did an entire year, though. 365 indie games, that would be nice. No promises, but I'll give it a shot. So, the thing that I wanted to say was, what's the deal with the indie games? I got kind of off on a tangent, but to answer that question is sort of a big deal. It's a long story in a way, but I sort of do want to get into it just because it's so important to me, and for you guys to understand where I'm coming from when I do these videos, I feel like it's totally worth getting into. And I don't want to make it sound like it's such a big deal, but at the same time it is. So I've been, throughout my whole life, I've been involved in video games in one way or another. When I was a little kid, my first big deal thing was I got an Atari ST, or an Atari ST and an Atari 2600. The ST came later. That was my first computer. But even when I was just a little baby, some of my first memories, as far as I can go back, and I don't remember a lot from those years, but I do remember playing Atari games. And that's stuck with me. Like, that's been the one thread that's run through my life pretty much, is video games. And I've always been in sort of a weird spot, because as I got through high school and as I finished high school, like I left high school, I started a job, I worked at GameStop. I stayed there for like 7 years, so that's been like the main job I've had for my entire adult life until about 2 years ago when I left. But it's like, I didn't really know what to do about games. I always wanted to make them. I always was involved in modding. I used to do a lot of stuff with PC games. I did like Doom mods. I did marathon mods. I actually tried to do a total conversion. I was like 13 at the time. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, but I still needed to do something, because I was obsessed with making maps. I tried to figure out how to do 3D rendering back then, which was kind of really tough, because that was, I don't know, like 96 somewhere, no, 98, probably closer. And I didn't have much other than a crappy Mac. I had a Centris 650 back then, and that did not have the ability to do much with 3D at all. In fact, the thing barely had a CD drive. So it was a big deal that I tried to figure that out, and I actually was able to. I made like this crazy grenade launcher, and I figured out how to edit all of the stuff with Anvil and Forge, and I actually like imported the graphics and made an animation out of it, and that kind of stuff has really stuck with me, like the want to create something to do with games, but I've never really had the right tools to be able to do it, and I never really thought that it would be such an obsession for me that I needed to like go to school to figure it out. I always figured like if it was anything, it would probably be a hobby for the majority of my life, and it would probably be just sort of something in the background, but I need like a real profession. I need something that I can actually make money off of. And I'm sort of at a point in my life right now where a lot of shit's been going really bad, and it's sort of forced me to look into myself a little bit more to see what's really important to me and what is going to make me happy going forward. And there's not really even an option. Like, I have to do something with games. And right now, the place that I'm at, like, I'm closer than ever to being able to actually make a game on my own. And again, I have help with that too. And I'm not making any announcements. I'm not going to say that I am making a game, but I'm making steps toward it. And that's a big deal to me, because that's really the one thing that I want to do, like with myself. I can't say that I will make a career out of it, but I have to try, because I don't think I'll be able to like really go forward knowing that I didn't at least try it. And so how does that relate to YouTube, you might ask? Well, I mean, the place that I had to go to get to this point, why this is so important to me, like when I worked at GameStop, it was a really big deal that I was able to talk about games all day, and that's really something that I don't want to lose, but at the same time I did. So this is sort of a catharsis for me. This is like my therapy, being able to look at all these crazy awesome games, trying to let people know about them, open up a dialogue about indie games especially. And the reason that indie games are so important to me, a lot of it is to do with the fact that when I was at GameStop, the attitude in general around gaming was so kind of negative. And looking back on it, it's not as obvious. Well, it's obvious now. It wasn't so obvious then why things were the way they were. And I think that the reason is, I always was having these disagreements with like coworkers and people that I would talk to there about what it is that like gaming's about. Like, what's the point of it? Why do we bother recommending these games? Why do we invest so much of ourselves in it? And I think the reason that I do it might be different from the reason that some of them did it. And that's fine. I'm not passing judgment. Everyone has a right to do things for whatever reasons they need to. And that's the thing. Back then, I didn't really have the perspective to be able to see why I felt differently about these things. But now it's because I appreciate the art in them more so than the game. Like, the gameplay itself is great, and that's something that I really enjoy doing and spending time with. But the vision of the people that make these things is really where the meat of it is at. And that's where I find that I want to line up, with these people. I want to know about their vision. I want to have that vision. I feel like I do have that vision, and I feel like I need to get it out of me. And I went to college for graphic design, for art, web design, all of that stuff. And it's a job. Like, I feel like I can do it. reasonably well. There are plenty of people out there that are better than me that have much more clear artistic direction of what they think they can do, what they are capable of. But like that, it's something that I feel like I could do, but it's not my passion. And I don't think that it's reasonable to not live with passion. Like, I have to find that thing that really pushes me forward. And I got through college, I felt like it was great, but I never was like so excited every day by it. And gaming is really that thing that does that for me. So I have to really go in that direction. And indie games in particular, like, I feel like since the whole, I don't know, it's about 2 years ago now since like Super Meat Boy came out, and this is a lot of this introspection is happening because I just watched Indie Game the movie, which is kind of also a huge deal to me, because it sort of gave a little bit of shape to what I feel like is a new world to the gaming industry. I mean, the mainstream gaming industry has always been around, and I feel like it's gotten so weird and like sour and bitter and angry, and it's not really about games the way that I look at them anymore. So that sort of world, it's sort of starting to disappear to me, and the indie games world is what's really sort of moving ahead and sort of making these strides towards what I think the point of games should be, and that's to be creative, to have fun, to push the limits. I mean, all the things that art is supposed to be about. I feel like gaming is another version of that expression. So it's really important to me, like, personally, and I take a lot of personal investment in the fact that games need to be pushed. Like, they need to have new boundaries, and we need to encourage it, because I have a lot of my own personality invested in that idea. If the idea of indie games, like what we see it as now, can't succeed, I feel like my own personal vision for what I want to do with myself also can't succeed. So it's a really complex topic, obviously, and it's not something that I'm going to be able to say every single thing about what I feel on it, but I feel like I have to at least give it a shot, you know, because if you guys care enough to come and watch my videos, then I feel like you guys are the people that I need to be talking to. And in my life in general, there haven't been hardly any, like, real people that I've had this ability to talk about this stuff with. I've met some amazing people, like, through Twitter and just through email, Reddit, YouTube, of course. And these are the people that I feel like I have so much more connection to than the people in the real world that are just, you know, they'll play Call of Duty, they'll be bitter about it, they'll play fighting games, and that's like as far as it goes. I say bitter so often, I don't really mean it like that. Everybody, like I said before, has their own reasons for gaming, and I can't come across like I'm trying to diminish that. Every reason's just as valid as every other reason, it's just you can't discount one because you don't understand it. So I'm still trying to come to terms with this myself, and it's not simple, and it's not easy. But I guess as long as I get, like, that gaming is the thing that really brings us all together, there's not really a way to lose, you know? I'm not trying to push people away. That's really the point, is I have to stop doing that. So, I mean, if this doesn't sound like a therapy session, I don't know what does, but so yeah, the thing I was saying before about Indie Game the movie, that really kind of touched me in a lot of ways, because I really felt for Ed and Tommy and Phil, and to a smaller degree John. All of them have this vision that's like consuming their lives, that they need to get out of their bodies and put into the world, but at the same time they're so scared that everyone won't feel the same way about it that they do, that it's terrifying to let go of it and let it out. And I feel like I have some of that stuck inside of me as well, and I need to figure out how to get it out, and I don't think I'm going to be okay and comfortable until I can. Like, just when Phil said, like, if he didn't get this thing out of him and have it work out the way he needed it to, he would kill himself. And I'm not going to say that I would do that, but I understand where he's coming from when he says that. It's really, it's part of you that you're trying to turn into something that you want to let people enjoy. And I guess it's just sort of a sick, twisted, like, obsession or something, but it's just the way that these people, and I feel like I think, there's just something about it And I guess it's just like a lifetime of building it up and working on ideas and having ideas that you want to turn into something else, and you want to see other people appreciate the same way you appreciate it. It turns it into this snowball effect, and eventually it's like it really is consuming. So, if you guys haven't seen Indie Game the movie, you really do need to. I was scared to watch it a little bit at first, just because I was afraid of the presentation of the movie coming across that maybe these people that I thought I understood how their minds worked, that maybe I was wrong. And if they were framed in such a way that they were in a movie situation, that maybe they wouldn't be the same people anymore. But I actually found after watching it, they were more what I thought they were than before I had watched it. So if you're worried about the movie sensationalizing stuff, I mean, it makes a compelling case, and in a way that's inherently a little hyperbolic, but it does it in a really grounded way. I mean, this is all of these people's real lives happening in front of us. And I'm really kind of honored to be a part of it, even in the smallest possible way. I mean, if you guys knew me from when I started doing Meat Boy videos and making Meat Boy levels, that was a big deal to me, because it meant that I had an outlet for level design. And that's something that I've always loved, and I've always pretty much had to do it on a 3D grid. You know, I said before, I've done Doom levels, I've done Marathon levels, I've done Quake levels, Half-Life, Unreal Tournament, I spent a lot of time with that one, and probably a bunch of others too that I'm not thinking of at the moment, but it's always been 3D levels for whatever reason. I never really thought about how much 2D levels were, like how much those meant to me as well. And I've always had little, like, places I could sort of let that out a little bit, like Lode Runner back on the NES, or Cat Trap on the Game Boy, or Mega Man on PSP. I don't remember the full title, but the PSP remake of the original Mega Man had a level editor in it. And there's just little bits and pieces that would sort of string me along, and of course Little Big Planet was a huge one. But I've always sort of worked within the framework of someone else's creation. I've never let it be all my rules. And I think that's what I really need to do. So, I mean, hopefully you're getting a little bit of the picture here. Like, these videos mean a lot to me because they're like a conduit that I can use to interact with people who I really feel like I connect with on a deeper level. It's just like I don't know how to start a conversation with them. So if I have at least a place to start, and I mean, granted, I also want to play these games. They're awesome. Some of them are beautiful. And coming from a place of going to college for art, like, I really do appreciate art, and I think that there's not the same level of people who look at themselves like art critics. And I'm not saying I'm an art critic, but I feel like I have the propensity to be one sometimes. But the people who look at this stuff like on a college level, I don't feel like they spend a lot of time really analyzing what makes up these games on like an artistic, visual, presentation-wise level. I think a lot of that gets glossed over because of gameplay. And gameplay is a huge component of it as well. Gameplay, the visual, the audio, all of that comes together to create an experience. But I think we just we go over a lot of stuff when we're talking about games. We just kind of skip past it because we see a bigger picture. And I think sometimes we really need to sort of stop and slow down and look at some of, like, what's going on in the minds of the people that are making these games. Why should we not spend more time thinking about them, because that's why this stuff even exists. So I feel like there might be reciprocity in that. Like, if I appreciate them, maybe they'll appreciate me, maybe on a silly level, but regardless, that doesn't really matter. I love playing games. I hope you love watching me play games, and I love talking about them as well. I love critiquing things. And if you think that I'm a reasonable person to give you these critiques, that's a huge deal to me. You know, there's a sort of level of trust that you guys watch my videos, that you care about what I say. That is huge. I mean, I've had a few outlets. I've written for things in the past. I've done, you know, little bits and pieces to deal with people on a more individual basis about games, but I've never really had a bigger outlet for this stuff. So YouTube for me is that. It's giving me a lot of things, and I really hope that I can give some of those things back to you guys. And I hope that you understand where I'm coming from, at least on a small level, about why I love all of this beautiful art and all of these thoughts and all these experiences, it means the world to me. This is like my passion. So, I don't know, I could probably go on for hours talking about this stuff. This is like the thing for me. So, I hope I can give you just a little bit of a taste, and I hope you can understand, if I ever am overly critical about something, or if I ever don't see it the way that maybe it should be seen, I'm bringing some baggage with me about it. Like, I can only see things through my own eyes, through my own filter. And I try to be as humble as possible now, and I haven't always been that way. But, when life really kind of shits on you in a way, like, you have to look at it a little differently, that sometimes maybe there are bigger things that are going on that you need to be aware of, and sometimes you have to be a little bit more critical of yourself instead of always pushing the blame onto other people. So, I don't know, art, games, that's it. I hope this hasn't gotten too heavy for you guys. I really do appreciate you watching, and I hope you understand, indie games, they're kind of the future of gaming. At least that's how I see it. If we can't get behind this and let the little guys have the spotlight a little bit, I don't want to play Call of Duty anymore. Like, I don't want all we understand about games to be that we shoot stuff. It's a huge, broad medium. There's so many concepts and ideas we haven't even begun to look at yet. And it makes me really disappointed that we think now, like, as a culture, that gaming can only reach a bigger audience if it involves jumping up and down and waving our arms and fucking dancing. Like, that's not gaming to me. I understand it's a valid expression. It's fine. I just really hate that that's what gets most of the recognition nowadays, instead of these brilliant ideas that I'm looking at every single day that exist in these closed-off little boxes that no one can find. These people have all of the options that the people that are making these devices that think that gaming is made up of motion controls and bullshit. They have all the money and the options in the world to make actual legitimate expression come out and reach millions of people who may not even know that that's what they want. But they've decided for us that we're too stupid to understand it. I really hate that idea. I don't think we're too stupid to understand it. I think we just haven't had the option yet. And when I was a little kid, I always sort of felt like gaming was going to get bigger in a way, but I really hope that it would stay true to that. Gaming is about an expression, not about a crappy explosion-filled movie. I mean, Transformers shit, like Michael Bay. I don't think this is where this needs to be going, and I know that a lot of you disagree with me, and that's fine. And even if we can coexist, that's fine. But right now, the scales are tipped like, I hate to use this metaphor, but like 99 and 1%. There's not a lot that can even be said about it, really. I mean, right now, it's so small. And that's even saying something, considering in the last 5 or so years, indie games have completely changed as a medium. Limbo, Braid, Super Meat Boy, Fez, all of these games, and all of the games that were mentioned in Indie Game the Movie, they're all instrumental in bringing this stuff out and making it okay for everyone to understand that these games can be really successful and they can be really wonderful. And say what you want about Minecraft, I know it's a little bit played out now on YouTube, but the amount of influence that just having a precedent set can, how much that can change the entire industry, like the scope of the industry, that can't be marginalized. Like, that has to be really looked at carefully. I don't want to say that we need more Minecrafts necessarily, but I do want to say that I appreciate what it's done. And I can only hope that more games will succeed on that level because of their original ideas and because of their promise to do something different and be bold and be... I mean, everything about Minecraft is really kind of different. If you look at the scope of a regular AAA title, it's linear as hell, it's incredibly polished, it's produced. I mean, they use this like saying all the time, but like that they sharpened off all the rough edges so no one can hurt themselves. I mean, this is another thing that Edmund, I think, said in Indie Game the Movie, or someone said it in Indie Game the Movie. I apologize if I'm pulling the wrong quote here, or the wrong person. But that means everything. If all the edges are gone and all the character is gone from the game, what's left? Like, a social casual experience. Great. Have a social casual experience and go to the fucking mall with your friends. Go hang out outside. Do something like that. Again, I don't mean to sound too hostile, because I do recognize that there's room for all kinds of experiences in gaming. It's just so one-sided that it gets me really hot-headed a lot. And for the reasons I've mentioned before, that I wrap up way too much of myself into these ideas. I feel like if these ideas, these unique, bold, artful, expressionistic ideas can't succeed, I feel like I can't either. So, I think we've probably gone on long enough. I mean, and if you guys want to call me a hypocrite, feel free. I have like 200 360 games sitting on my shelf over there. It's fine. I've played the hell out of console games. That's how I grew up, really. I played Nintendo, I played Atari, I played Sega Genesis, I played SNES. I had every damn console. That's the way it worked. I did it up through PS3, 360, and Wii, and that's about when things started to change. I couldn't really find that passion anymore, and it started to worry me that if I didn't figure out a way that gaming could still work within the framework that I have in my head, that I don't know that it exists for me anymore. So thank goodness that around that exact same time, Super Meat Boy came out and set me off on a whole different direction, resulting in all of the things that have led up to today and the videos that I've made on my channel and the people that I've met. And I really hope that I can reach more people. I hope that I can, branch out, because one day I would love to be among those people that can say they made something that people played and loved. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I have to give it a shot. So if anything, this will be my commitment, putting it into the world that, that's where I stand. I don't want to be seen as an asshole. I don't want to be too judgmental about this stuff. But I'm passionate about it, and I guess that's just what happens when you care about something a lot. It kind of gets you riled up pretty easily. You're defending it. So, I think that'll do it. I'd be amazed if you guys stuck through to the end of this whole thing. If you did, thumbs up to you. I appreciate you even more now. And I'm ever so thankful for all the time that you guys put in watching my stuff, and the fact that you keep coming to my Facebook page and, to Twitter, leaving me messages and stuff. That means so much to me. So please keep doing that. I mean, let me know what you think about this whole thing. I would love to hear from you. I mean, that's really the only reason I'm doing it. I'm not making any money off of this stuff. This is completely therapeutic for me, is really like all I can say. I would love it if someday I could make enough to live off of this, one way or the other, whether it be through a combination of videos, making games, however I have to do it. That would be the only way that I'd be able to have no regrets. But there's not to say that maybe there's other avenues that I don't even know about yet. So, if the right person sees what I'm about, maybe that'll help. So I figure all in all, it couldn't really hurt to say all this stuff to you guys. So I hope you understand, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you in future videos. Take care.